Hello, welcome to the Trade Ideas Trading Room recap for Wednesday, March the 18th. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm the moderator of the trading room. This is the address to get into the room, and you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. Okay, today was FOMC minutes day at 2 p.m., and I've always said that unless you trade in the first hour, probably you may sit on your hands for the balance of the day. Today was a huge exception. A couple of really excellent trades for me, especially one, and I'll go over them, of course. Here is the SPY. Let's show you what happened. Here's the SPY at 2 p.m. And you know what? I don't even know what she said, what was said. I know everybody was wondering if she was going to use the word patient. It was crazy, the media focus on all this. Somebody actually in the room said she didn't use the word patient. Nonetheless, the SPY has reacted well to whatever was said, and so I guess that means that interest rates won't be hiked in the near future. So now we can move on from this nonsense. So let's take a look at the first trade that I did. And now, actually, this was from yesterday. If At the end of the day, right around here, with about 15 minutes left in the market. Now, right around here is when Ampeo Pharmaceuticals, AMPE, broke through 8. And I was saying to the room that, if this could hold over 8, that it would be a pretty good play, possibly for tomorrow, meaning today. Let's take a look at the daily chart on it to see why I was saying that. Um, Here is right there, this area right there, 834. This is today's candle, this is yesterday's, and this is the day before. So I kind of said that if it could break out through here, that it would be a good trade. But the way it was trading towards the end of the day yesterday kind of convinced me that I was going to take the trade right here. So I kind of jumped the gun. And I took the trade at 8:11. This was about with about 10 minutes left in the market. And I posted it in the room that I took the trade. So this morning, kind of did really nothing in the pre-market, and then when the market opened, it kind of exploded upwards, 842 all the way up to 863. Now I took out half at 855. Watched it kind of jog around and got up to 878. I knew that 8 was going to be a tough one. Now this candle kind of has me bamboozled a little bit. I don't know what happened here. Maybe it's a bad print or something. But when you see the high of the day, it does say 901. And so, that kind of kept me in the trade probably longer than I would have normally. Bottom line is that I decided to exit the last half of the trade at basically my buy point at 811. So I've only made, what was it, 44 cents on the half. Still not bad, and I'm thinking, if this could hold $8, I may get back into the trade because, obviously there is some excitement about this stock. I don't know. I don't even know what they do, to be honest. Somebody asked me, what's the story? I really have no idea. I was just looking at the chart. But let's take a look at the one that really caused the excitement today. And I'm just going to bring this in. This is my custom setup. Now, before you start asking me for this particular setup, I'm going to tell you right off the bat that this is one that I can't share. It has a lot of custom formulas in it. This is actually a formula or a strategy that Trade Ideas developed for me about 3 years ago when I was still just a customer of Trade Ideas. And I was I don't know if I was a guinea pig or what, but this is when they started their executive execution consulting service, in which if you had the odds maker, they would create a couple of trades for you using their engine, I guess their big artificial intelligence to come up with a bunch of filters that we never would come up with, and the filter values. I mean, that's more to the point probably. Maybe we could come up with the filters that were used, but certainly not the filter values. Because they're just, I mean, you could say Bollinger Band at a certain value, RSI at a certain value, RSI at 17.2 as an example. Well, we as humans could never come up with that, but the computer sort of number one, they found the filters and then also put the right values in there that created this very good strategy. Now, this was 3 years ago, and I haven't really used it in the last year. The market's been in such a bull market that to try to go short and this was essentially a short strategy. I did flip it. That's why you see this in green. I did actually flip the strategy just to see what sort of long plays I would get. And I was getting some pretty good ones during the bull market, but I kind of stopped using this and I was really just using all my bounce setups and my potential reversals. But I think last week I decided to resurrect it just to see what was happening with it. And I was seeing that I was getting some pretty good ones. So this morning, SQM came in and it was at 1845. So let's just take a look at 1845. The price was up here, and rates are right. You know what? Just a sec. Okay, so I just put the bar in. So this is why I got the alert. And this is a downward momentum strategy. And I'm telling you, in the past, what was happening is that I'd see a bunch of down candles, and I'd get the alert, and it was supposed to go short on it, and there's no way I would because, it looked like it was way too extended, and yet in this particular strategy, it just kept going down. I mean, most of the symbols I was seeing, all the alerts I was seeing, it just kept going down, and for some pretty big gains. Now, granted, this is about 3 years ago. Anyway, I sort of digress. As I say, I resurrected it last week, and I wanted to watch it again. So I got it here, but I didn't really act on it. I had other things going on, and I think I just kind of lost sight of it. And then I received another alert right around this area here on this bar. And so I started watching it, and I actually, was wondering, well, maybe I should try to play a bounce on it. And here was a little bounce, but then on this candle here, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to short this and just see what happens. And so I took the short at 1743, and look what happened. In, the space of certainly less than 15 minutes, it dropped over $2. It actually got all the way down to here, but I covered half here at 1542 for a little over a $2 gain. I couldn't get anything out here because it went down, and I was really hoping it would crack through 15, and then it popped right back up again. Held on through all this, and I basically said in the room that if it went through 16, I would cover the last half, and that's what happened. So I covered it right there. I know some in the room actually took this as a bounce play because it did show up actually on my bounce alerts, right, 1527. But, I was still short at that time. But anyway, just a tremendous trade. And I guess, I don't know when the news hit. I don't know if it hit up here or if it actually hit here. But I guess there's some allegations of fraud or kickbacks. The company giving kickbacks to the government going all the way back into the 1990s. So this is sort of rock Chile. Chile is one of those South American countries that seems to have been quite stable for a few years. When you compare it to Argentina or Venezuela or even Peru, Brazil, Chile has seemed to be kind of a stalwart. So I guess this has kind of shaken the establishment a little bit. So we have to see what happens, see how this plays out. But that was definitely my trade of the day. There's no question about it. I just want to talk about one other trade that didn't work out, but I want to show you why I took it. And this was this was one of the ones that was, I think, on my reversal list yesterday, and I noticed. So I still had it thumbnailed, and you notice it right here. Look at this huge, real consolidation: 45.66, 45.43 for a long period of time. I noticed this big volume bar came into it, and I posted in the room. Well, big volume bar came in, but it didn't move it. And I always look at that as being maybe the precursor of the move. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm sure many people think the same thing, but I really wanted to watch it. But you see, this is what it's about, probably about 112 right there. So again, you have to remember the FOMC minutes are at 2 o'clock. Typically do not like to take a trade within about 45 minutes of the FOMC because it just seems to get too erratic. So, but in this case I did take the trade. I think it was right around 45.64. In fact, it was 45.64. I don't have it marked up. It started to move up, but I said in the room, if it doesn't move up really quickly, I'm out of it. And so I literally got out of it right here at 45.64. And I shouldn't say of course, but this was the gamble that if you held it and whatever was said was positive, this you were definitely going to reap the rewards because I mean it popped all the way up to 46.55, which was almost a dollar. But I'm telling you that the same thing could have happened on the reverse. If whatever was said at 2 o'clock was very negative, this could have just collapsed. So that's why I just don't like to gamble around this. But I'm merely pointing this out because when I see a big volume bar like this and no movement, and especially when there's consolidation, there has to be a reason for somebody or individuals, or it could even just one individual, all of a sudden piling into the stock, but there's no movement. So it's a great exercise just to keep following the stock. Even, I would have followed this stock for a long, if it had kept consolidating, I would have kept following this stock for a long time because it may take a while for this to kick in. And as I say, it didn't work out for me this time, but I mean it's just food for thought for trades in the future. So when you see this sort of a bar, watch it if it doesn't move. All right. I just want to see one other thing because there's a part of me that says I may get back into MPO, if it can hold $8 again, it would have to get a little bit stronger because these sort of moves have probably scared people. Though this is a well, it's just now giving up 8 again, but this is a classic move that might give people confidence that the sellers tried to drive it down on the volume, but the buyers just drove it back up again over 8. But we'll have to see what happens. Now my other one, this is just completely on a personal, well, I see it's given up some, but this is my long, 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 long term hold. It's actually from last April, if you can believe it. I don't normally hold stocks this long, but well, it's had a bit of a sell-off in the last little while. But this is my MGNX. I'm in at $26. So I'm just hoping that I'm going to get some of these moves that the other bios have had. $3, $4 days and string a few together and get it over 40 and maybe into the 50s. But very happy with a dollar move right now. Not so happy with this sell-off right here, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. All right, that's it for today.